Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we will be solving Principle of Accounts Paper 1, Variant 2 from May-June 2015. So let's start. Multiple choice 1, how should the owner of a business use his financial statements? So this is basically asking you how a business owner will use financial statements, or how financial statements will help business owner, how financial statements will help business owner. So option A, to calculate the cash drawings for the year, not really, because in multiple choice, you have to look for the best multiple option, right? You can, of course, balance sheet can tell you what the drawings are, but it's talking about all financial statements, right? All financial statements. So you have to look for a statement or an option which basically tells you that the overall financial statements, how the overall financial statements will help the business owner. So option A does not do that. Option B, to determine the amount due to trade payables. Again, this is only specific to balance sheet. To measure the change in bank balance, this is again from cash flow. Or could be balance sheet as well. To monitor the progress of the business. Yes, the answer to multiple choice 1 is option D, because financial statements will help the business owner to look at the progress of the business, to make decisions whether to invest in the business or not, whether the business is making profit or not, right? So that's the progress of the business. So financial statements will help monitor the progress of the business. So the answer to multiple choice 1 is option B. Multiple choice 2, Sarah sells goods on credit to Zafar. How is this recorded in Sarah's ledger? So Sarah is a seller. She sells good on credit. So Zafar is basically is a trade receivable. How is this recorded in Sarah's ledger? So that would be credit sales, and debit Zafar. So the answer to multiple choice 2 would be option A, credit to sales account and debit to Zafar account. Multiple choice 3, Gail's statement of financial position included the following. What was Gail's capital? So we need to calculate Gail's capital. We will make use of accounting equation. So what is accounting equation? Accounting equation is assets equal to liabilities plus equity. So we have two types of, this is an asset, and then this is a liability. To calculate equity, we will do asset minus liabilities equals to equity, or in this case, Gail's capital. So what are our assets? It's 100,000 plus 50,000 minus the 2,000. So it's 150,000 minus the 2,000, that comes to 148,000. So the answer to multiple choice 3 is option B. Hassan maintains a sales journal, purchases journal, sales return journal, and a purchases return journal. At the end of each month, Hassan transfers the total of these ledgers to the total of these ledgers to of these journals to ledger. Which entries will Hassan make in his ledger to record these totals? So there are four types of journals here: sales journal, purchase journal. And so if you see, sales journal would have a credit balance, this would have a debit balance, sales returns journal would have a credit balance, and purchase this would have a debit balance, and purchase return journal would have a credit balance. So let's look through the options. So let's concentrate. Purchases journal would have a debit balance. So where do you see purchases would have? So option A and option B can be eliminated. So the option C and option D has purchase as a debit. So now we are down to 50-50, right? 50-50. Let's see. Sales will not have a credit balance. Sales will not have a debit balance. It would have a credit balance. So the answer to multiple choice 4 is option D. So if you see, so sales journal credit balance, purchase journal debit balance, sales return journal debit balance, sales return journal debit balance, and purchase return journal credit balance, purchase return journal credit balance. So the answer to multiple choice 4 is option D. Multiple choice 5, which statement about a debit note is correct? So debit note is sent by the buyer for damaged goods, So let's try to find the statement here in our options. It is a statement sent to a customer. No. It is sent by the customer. It is sent to a no. It is sent to a supplier. Yes. It is sent to order. No. We do not order additional goods by issuing debit notes. So the answer to multiple choice 5 is option D. It is sent to a supplier when damaged goods are received, right? So the answer to multiple choice 5 is option D. A trader received his monthly bank statement. Which item may have appeared on this statement? Bank charges, yes. Credit transfers, yes. Unpresented checks, no. So the answer to multiple choice 6 would be 1 and 2 only, which is option A. Multiple choice 7. The following account appeared in the books of Mary. So in the books of Mary, there is this guy called Paul. Is a Paul's account. It has a debit balance. So Paul is basically a trade receivable. Paul is a trade receivable. In other words, Mary has to receive money from Paul, or in other words, Paul has to pay Mary. So let's look at the statement. On 1st April, Paul owed Mary $90. On 1st April, debit balance. Yes, this is true. This is true. Let's see if other statements are true or false, because we have to identify a correct statement. On 14th April, Paul is not selling goods. It's Mary who is selling goods. It's Mary who is selling goods. So this is false. On 21st April, Mary returned goods. Mary cannot return goods. Paul can return goods because Mary is selling. So this is false. On 30th April, Paul owed $125 at the end of May. So answer to multiple choice 7 is option A. On 1st April, Paul owed Mary $90. Multiple choice 8. Which error would be revealed by a trial balance? A check of $78 entered on the correct sides of both W's account and the cash book. So this is correctly entered. So trial balance will balance. Option B, goods returned by a customer, $300 not entered in the books. This is omitted, so will not affect the balance. Of trial balance. Option C, goods sold to Y for $650 correctly entered in the sales account and credited to Y's account. Now, this is a sales. This should be debit to Y's account. So the answer to multiple choice 8 is option C. This will create a non-balanced trial balance. So the answer to multiple choice 8 is option C. Multiple choice 9. Ali's financial year ends on 31st March. During the year ended 31st March 2015, Ali paid wages of $42,500. On 31st March 2015, 1,400 wages were accrued, so these were not paid. $1,400 were not paid. Which journal entry records the transfer from wages account to the income statement on 31st March 2015? So total wages would be 43,900. So these would be the total wages for the financial year. Because we follow accrual accounting, this should have been paid. $1,400 is a current year expense. This should have been paid. So the total wages would be 43,900. So we will search for 43. Okay, so you can eliminate option A and option C. You can keep option B and D, and let's see. So it would be okay. Debit income statement, and then credit credit the wages. So the answer to multiple choice 9 is option B, debit income statement and credit wages 43,900, 43,900. Multiple choice 10. At the end of the financial year, Ryan had accrued motor expenses of $200. So at the end of financial year, Ryan had accrued motor expenses of $200. How will this appear in Ryan's ledger and statement of financial position? So this is definitely a current liability because this is amount that has to be paid. It is accrued. So this is neither option A, neither option C. It's either B or D. Current liability would have a credit balance. Current liability would have a credit balance. So option D cannot be the correct answer. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 10 is option B, credit balance brought forward in motor expense account. And then in the statement of financial position, it would appear in current liability. The answer to multiple choice 10 is option B. Multiple choice 11. At the end of her financial year, Annie decided to reduce her provision for doubtful debts. Which entry recorded this? So you want to reduce the provision for doubtful debts, right? Reduced. So that would be debit provision, and then credit income statement, right? So this is the entry that you need to find. And there it is, option D. The answer to multiple choice 11 is option B. Multiple choice 12. Which transaction is a capital receipt? Cash receipt from the sale of good is revenue received. Interest received from the bank is revenue received. Proceeds from the sale of equipment. Now these are proceeds from the sale of equipment. So therefore the answer to multiple choice 12 would be option C. This is a capital receipt. Multiple choice 13. Repairs to motor vehicle were debited in error to the motor vehicle's account. So repairs to a motor vehicle. So this is an expense account. Now expense account has been understated. So how this will affect the profit and the non-current asset, right? So we need to study the effect on profit and non-current assets. So expense has been understated, therefore the profit will be overstated, right? And the motor vehicle, it has been debited to motor vehicle account, so my non-current assets would be overstated, right? My non-current assets would be overstated. The answer to multiple choice 13 would be option A, profit for the year overstated, whereas and also the non-current assets are overstated. Multiple choice 14. Sarah started a business on 1st January 2013 and purchased an equipment costing $10,000. She depreciated the equipment by 20% per annum using the straight line method. The equipment was sold for $5,200 on 1st January 2015. So after 2 years, this was sold. What was the profit or loss on the sale of equipment? So we will come. So let's calculate the net book value first, and then we will compare it with the cash price. So to calculate profit or loss, we need to take the difference between cash received minus the net book value. And just as a reminder, net book value is the difference between cost minus accumulated depreciation. So let's calculate the net book value of after 2 years. Right, so cost is 10,000 minus 10,000 times 20% times 2 years of depreciation, right? So this 10,000 times 2, this would be 2,000 times 2, this is 4,000. My net book value is $6,000. My net book value is $6,000 and I have sold the asset for 5,200. So 6,000 is the net book value. Cash received is 5,200. I have a loss of $800, right? So Sarah has a loss of $800. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 14 is option A. Multiple choice 15. The totals of a trial balance fails to agree by $680. And the difference was entered in a suspense account. It was then found that the rent received had been correctly entered in the cash book, but treated as rent paid in the ledger. So it has been treated as a rent paid in the ledger, right? So it's the rent received. So rent received should have been credited. So let's see where rent received is credited. It's only this entry, option B. It's option B only. Whereas if you see, no, the rent received cannot, it's not debited, should not be debited because that's an error. And this is an incorrect option. The answer to multiple choice 15 is option B. If you just know a part of the entry, you can actually get this multiple choice right. So I hope these videos are helping you to understand how you can actually score 100% on your paper one, the multiple choice paper. Right, so rent received, so suspense would be debited, rent received would be credited, and then rent paid, which was debited, needs to be credited again, right? So this is a correction of error. This is the correction of error, right? So the answer to multiple choice 15 would be option B. Multiple choice 16. Why does a trader prepare a sales ledger control account? So the purpose of sales ledger control account is to check for errors, to check for errors. Let's see if they have mentioned is in the options here, to locate incorrect postings in the ledgers, right? So the answer to multiple choice 16 is option C. That's what I meant. It's companies prepare sales ledger control account to check for any incorrections. Multiple choice 17. On 1st January 2014, Kim's net assets totaled 70,000. On 31st December 2014, they totaled to 55,000. So 55,000. So it went down from 70,000 to 55,000. Therefore, this is going to be a loss situation here. This is going to be a loss situation here. During the year, Kim withdrew 4,000 for personal use. What was the profit or loss for the year? So it's going to be a loss because the net assets, the net assets, they dropped down. So 70 minus 55, that's 15, right? So 70 minus 55 is 15. So 15,000 of loss minus the drawings. So our total loss would be $11,000. So the answer to multiple choice 17 is option A. Multiple choice 18. How should inventory be valued? Inventory should be valued at lower of cost or net realizable values. The answer to multiple choice 18 is option C. Multiple choice 19. The owner of a business took goods for his own use but failed to make an entry in the accounts. What was the effect of this error? So on capital employed, there is no effect. So it's either option A or option C. It's not B and D, right? So you are 50-50 now, 50-50 now. The owner of the business took the goods for his own use, but failed to make an entry. So profit for the year would be understated. Profit for the year would be understated because the owner of the business did not take his own purchase of goods into business account. So profit would be understated. The answer to multiple choice 19 is option C. Multiple choice 20. The financial year for Tony and Paul ends on 30th April. On 1st May 2015, Tony had a debit balance of 5,000 on his current account. What does this mean? So Tony has a debit balance of $5,000. His drawings exceeded his total profit share. So the answer to multiple choice 20 would be option C. Multiple choice 21. What is similar to a statement of affairs? Similar to a statement of affairs is a statement of financial position. So the answer to multiple choice 21 is option C. Multiple choice 22. Umar started a business but did not maintain any accounting records. Which items are included in the calculation to find credit purchases for the first year of the trading? So amount owing to trade payables, yes, this will be taken into account. Amount owing to the trade receivables at the year end, no. Cash discount received, yes. So the answer to multiple choice 22 would be option A, 1 and 3. Multiple choice 23. Which statement applies to preference shareholders? They are the members of the company. They are usually entitled to vote. They are entitled to vote. Why? I mean, option B is it's so in this case you have to actually pick for a very reasonable option. All of the options might seem correct to you, but the most correct option here would be option A. That is, they are members of the company, right? They are the members of the company. So the answer to multiple choice 23 would be option A. Multiple choice 24. A limited company provided the following information. So you have this information here available. A dividend of 10% on ordinary shares was paid during the year. What were the retained earnings for 31st December? So you have to calculate the retained earnings for 31st December. So what were the opening retained earnings? So this is opening retained earnings, 12,000. What was the current year profit? That's 43,000. That's 43,000, right? So this would be 57,000. Now I have to minus the general reserve, right? Minus the general reserve plus and minus the dividend as well. So what's the dividend? So dividend would be 200,000 times 10%. That's going to be 20,000. That's going to be 20,000. And this is 55. This is 55. So 20,000. Right, so 20,000. So this would be 55 minus 30, 55,000 minus 30,000. That would give me a profit of retained earnings of 25,000. So the answer to multiple choice 24 is option C. Multiple choice 25. Raminder, a manufacturer, provided the following information for the year ended 30th April 2015. What was the cost of production for the year ended 30th April 2015? So you will take 54,000 plus 29,500, which is factory overheads, plus wages, which are 48,200, and then add the difference between the opening and the closing work in progress. Right, so this, if I do the maths in here, this should come to a number of 134,700. The answer to multiple choice 25 would be option D. Multiple choice 26. Hang is paid a basic wage of $6 per hour for a 40-hour week. Any overtime is paid as follows. So if you work from Monday to Friday, overtime of Monday to Saturday is time and a quarter. That means 1.25, 25 showing the quarter, right? And then on Sunday it's times 2, so you get doubles, right? On 1 week, Hang worked 45 hours. Of these 3 hours were on Sundays, so 45 hours, right? 45 hours. So for 40 hours, you will do times 6. This is for 40 hours. Out of these 5 hours, 3 hours are on Sunday, and then 2 hours could be somewhere between Monday and Saturday. We do not know which day, but we can basically say that 2 hours would be basically from either Monday to Saturday, any of the day, right? So for 2 hours, you would do 6 times 1.25. That's the rate of overtime, right? That's the rate of overtime. And then for Sunday, it would be 2 times 6 times 2, so 3 hours actually. So this is 3 hours, this is 2 hours. These are hours. So 40 hours. So this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. And then if you do the maths in here, the total should come to 291. The total should come to 291. I'm leaving this maths here for you so that you can practice, right? So the answer to multiple choice 26 is option A. This is here the rationale for you to calculate the number for your so that you can easily follow it, right? So the answer to multiple choice 26 is option A. Multiple choice 27, a business provided the following information. So you have cost of sales, gross profit and expenses. Okay, what was the profit for the year as a percentage of revenue? So you need to calculate profit as a percent of revenue. You don't have the revenue, but you can calculate the revenue by adding these two numbers. So gross profit is basically difference between sales revenue minus the COGS, right? So you have GP, which is 40, this is X, this is 60. So revenue is basically 100. And then if you want the profit, that would be 40 minus 25, and the profit is basically 15. So 15 over 100, that's 15%. The answer to multiple choice 27 is option B. Multiple choice 28, a payment made from the business bank account for petrol for the owner's private car is not included in the income statement. Which accounting principle is being applied? And that's accounting entity, because accounting entity tells you that you need to separate business versus personal transactions, right? So you have to separate business versus personal transactions. So the answer to multiple choice 28 is option A. Multiple choice 29, a business's financial statements should include all the costs and income for the period to which they relate. Which accounting principles is referred to the statement? That's matching, because this tells you all current year's revenues and expenses should be recorded in current year, right? So that's matching. Multiple choice 30, what is the purpose of international accounting standard? The purpose of international accounting standards is to make it easier to compare financial statements prepared in different countries. The answer to multiple choice 30 is option D. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Thank you very much.